Hi friends, welcome back. Now let's continue our discussion on the doubly linked list. As we have defined in the previous session, a doubly linked list is made up of a node, and the node consists of three components. One component is the data, and two other components are the pointers, one pointing to the next node and one pointing to the previous node. So in this figure we can see that we have a doubly linked list consisting of three nodes, and the first node usually called a head, and the first node will not have anything prior to it, therefore the previous address is a null, and the next address of the first node is the second node, and the previous address of the second node is the first node, and so on. So if we want to look at how the work is done, so we just look at an example of how we create a node for a doubly linked list. So when we are creating a node, we just insert one data, and we create a new node and allocate the memory for that, and the data in the new node is copied from the data we have supplied as a parameter, and then because it's just one node being created, we don't know what is prior to that, we don't know what is next to that, so just the pointer to the next node is null, pointer to the previous node is null by default. That's how we create one node. So we create a node where the data is known, so we add the data to that, but previous and next nodes are still unknown, therefore we just put them null and just return that. So that's how a node is created. So now we want to use it for creating a linked list, doubly linked list. Then we create, say, node 1, which is using this function create node, and we supply data of 10. Then we create another node, and now we supply data of 20. Then we create one more node, and we create data of 30. Now the main part is to assign the pointers and connect the nodes one to one another. So the node 1's next is node 2, and node 1's previous I don't know, so I keep it null, and node 2's next is node 3, and node 2's previous is node 1. Yes, node 2's previous is node 1 because we want to create three nodes like node 1, node 2, node 3, and so on. So node 1's next is node 2, and node 1 is the first one, therefore doesn't have any previous, so we put a null there. Node 2's next is node 3, and node 2's previous of course is node 1. Then node 3's next is I don't know, because we say that node 3 is the last node, therefore node 3's next is put null, and node 3's previous is node 2. So once we define it like this, then we get a doubly linked list. Node 1 was having a value 10, node 2 was having a value 20, node 3 was having a value 30. So before 10 nothing is there, after 30 nothing is there. So this is how doubly linked list is created, and we can see that the arrows are now bidirectional, so we can go from one node to another node in either direction. So that's how a doubly linked list is created. So let's check that running a code. So here we define a structure node where we have three components. One component is the data, another component is the pointer to the next node, and one more component is a pointer to the previous node. So when we are creating, yes, we have created a new data, allocated memory for that, and in the data part of that, we are copying the data being supplied through the function, and we say that the next of that is null, previous of that is null, because we don't know, we are just creating a node. And then in the main function we create three nodes. First node let me call head, and create node with a value of 10. Then second node let me call it second, and with a value of 20. Third node we call it third, and with a value of 30. So these three nodes are created. Now we have to connect the second node supposed to be the next of the head. So the head's next is second, and second's previous is head, second's next is third, and third's previous is second. The other, that means by default, here we have said that node's previous is null. So we are not defining what is heads previous, because when the head node was created here, both previous and next were made null, and we are rewriting for next as second. So by default, the heads previous remained null only. Same way for thirds next, we are not touching it, which means by default when the third node was created, both previous and next were made null, and only previous we are connecting to the second one, and the next we are not redefining, therefore it remains null. Then just create one more link to the head, and then just keep printing them. So we should get 10, 20, 30 as a doubly linked list created. So let me check it, what we get. Yes, 10, 20, 30. That's how we have created. So let's modify this. So maybe 100, 200, 300. So now this whole thing, instead of 10, 20, 30, it should be talking about 100, 200, 300, and so on. So this way we can create a doubly linked list wherein each node will have three components, one data and two pointers, one pointing to the next node, one pointing to the previous node. So this way it will help us in moving from any point either in the forward direction or in the reverse direction. So that's how doubly linked list is created. So more functions in the row. So please keep watching. Thank you.